Hello and good evening, and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth. Yes, indeed, boy, and it's something to talk about and digging into this truth behind the truth. Harold, you got your cup of ready to pour tea already.
You ready? You ready over here?
I love it. Want to welcome everyone to us tonight. It should be an exciting show.
I see the tea. Parnell,
yeah, I see. We got a tea party going on.
That's right.
Yes. Parnell may have a little something in his tea though.
Grown folks tea.
You got to warm up. Get our little camera fixed right here. So we can look good on camera. You know. But anyway, so welcome everyone. We want to thank you guys for taking the time out to be a part and be with us tonight. It's going to be an exciting show. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of things. We'll talk about that man and his arraignment. Okay, that's a lot of time. That's probably gonna take the whole show.
It'll take up the whole entire show.
Can't give him that much
exactly.
Right.
We're gonna be talking about the Tennessee situation with the children, as well as the voter, the legislative guys that were trying to get these gun laws changed. This. We're gonna talk about that a little bit. Get our opinions on that. And we are kicking off a special series for the next, I think, 3 weeks, right? Yeah, we got 3 more weeks. Men, we are talking to y'all. Okay, we're gonna get you fashioned up. We're gonna be looking at fashion. We're gonna make sure your body clean. We'll get your hair cut away at areas that need to be cut away. Yeah. We're gonna talk about you getting manis and petties and all that type of stuff. I'm talking about being petty with people, okay? So we're gonna get all of that. We're gonna dig into that for the rest of the month for you guys. So be excited about that. We're also gonna talk about a little bit of men's wellness in that. And I think Harold's got a couple of spots to be talking about. What we talk about testosterone, helping you out with your testosterone levels, okay, in that, and also if you're experiencing some level of erectile dysfunction, it's always good to talk about that, and hopefully you can keep you getting strong, okay.
Keep you rising to the top.
Okay, exactly. So make sure you tune in and get ready for those conversations, all right? And ladies, you can be a part of it as well. You maybe need to pass the word up to your brothers and your husbands, even to your sons that are over 18, okay? So
it benefits everybody. It benefits everybody.
Benefits everybody, absolutely. I totally agree. So we're excited, we are excited about this series. So we're gonna get y'all dressed up, looking nice. I know Easter's tomorrow, but you're gonna look better for the summer. We got some ideas. And tonight we're briefly gonna talk a little bit about the new styles of lounge wear for men. So we're gonna talk a little bit about lounging as far as your nightwear, and then of course some of your underwear opportunities, because it's time to get away from the damn tidy whities. Okay. But some of y'all need to wear. Let me shut up. Okay. I'm getting open up a Pandora's box. All right. I don't need to do that right now. Okay. But anyway, fellas, how you doing?
Doing good.
Good. I know Harold always gives us a wonderful t-shirt or a sweatshirt. What are you saying?
Black, white, no, human. That's what I am.
I like that. I like that. Not all of the labels, but the label.
Just human.
The one and only label. Human. Exactly. I like that. So how's
the latest thrift store find? I'm a thrifter.
Really?
Yeah. I get probably 80%, since we're talking about clothes, I get probably 80% of my clothes from the thrift store.
Wow, that is good. I mean, because and as I said, one man's giveaway is another man's treasure in this case. That's but that's good. I mean, really, I can't.
People die all the time, and they take the stuff right to the consignment stores, and you can find some nice things.
Gotcha. I ain't never been finding that I liked in that, but kudos for you.
When people think of thrifting, they often think of the Goodwill. Now, I don't go
right. Okay, exactly. Yeah. I don't know why they call it Goodwill.
When it comes to my thrifting, I don't go to the Goodwill.
Okay, there you go. Like they
had a certain scent, aroma. I don't like that.
Exactly.
Sadiddy thrifting.
Yes, Sadiddy thrifting. There you go. That's what I do.
Exactly. I get it.
I don't know why people why people wouldn't shop from thrift stores. Those who don't know the importance, a lot of your productions they shop from thrift stores.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Productions, theaters, movies, they go through there because you can find antiques. And nostalgia and clothes styles. And so thrift stores even Michael Jackson, he said he used to shop thrift stores.
Well, he bought a lot of his artifacts in thrift stores, things that he went in one thrift store and stayed all day, but went like 25, 30 grand, you know what I mean? So you can find some great stuff. I mean, honestly, you truly can. I don't know how you doing.
I started thrifting because I was volunteering with some wealthy white women. And that's all they talked about.
Okay.
Thrifting. And I was like, well,
now look, you're telling the truth. That's true. They typically white women, they know that thrifting. You know, they really do. I mean, in big ways. You know, I mean, really big ways.
Very good about stuff like that too.
Yeah, partner. How you doing, Big?
I'm doing good. You know, it's been an exciting week. You know, just on the grind, getting those submitting for acting gigs, and so I can get my next movie or TV show.
Yes, sir. See, you making me feel real bad because I need to start our audition. I done had like 6 of them since we've been in LA, you know, and I have this. I'm like, okay, I can't do it, and I guess I'm not in that headspace. You got to be in that headspace, you know, you really do. And I think mine typically is the focus on making sure that Truth Behind Truth goes beyond where we are at this point, you know, and thinking about that a lot. So rather than to find some other character, this character right here is enough to keep to keep lying.
There's a whole bunch of characters wrapped up over there in JP. You got a whole bunch of characters that come out during the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. There's a lot, I tell you, you know, that I can pull from. But you know, maybe at some point I'll definitely consider, you know, maybe, you know, doing something again because I do miss it, you know. I mean, I really do miss it. I miss being on set, you know, and the vibe. There's just nothing like a vibe about being on set, you know, especially when you got your own trailer, you know, you know, and the PA come knocking at your door, okay, you know, so it ain't nothing like it, but it really isn't. But anyway, let's go ahead and dig in. How you doing?
How y'all doing?
We're good.
You good?
You good?
Yeah. Okay, you look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you look good.
Mary. Up a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Mary.
Hey, Mary, how you doing? Good to see you tonight, dear. Yeah, I'm good. You know, like y'all know, rushing in, you know, trying to keep the other side of life going, you know, tonight here in LA. But, you know, I made it. I was like, y'all ain't gonna stop me from setting up my bread for the future. Y'all may be cutting a slice right now, but y'all ain't gonna mess up my bread for the future, okay?
No, that's right.
Because baby, it's in the oven, it's cooking, it's about ready to come out.
Come on now.
That's for sure. But anyway, we said something? Oh, I thought you said. So let's go ahead and dig in real quick before we get, you know, go too deep.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know. Trump will take us a whole segment. I'm thinking, you know,
we don't have to give that man more time than we need to.
I know.
Talk about it and move on.
Exactly. Right. You know, and really, as you know, the purpose is not to give him no airtime at all. You know, I mean, and I think it's just really to kind of elaborate further on the disgusting nature of what this man is about, you know, and maybe help
him and his whole family. I couldn't believe that his son released a picture of the judges. I mean, that's just gangster, you know, that's just gangster type of behavior. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
Well, you know, but that's who he likes to think of himself to be, is some gangster. You know, I mean, really, honestly, he really kind of thinks of himself that way.
Straight up thug. They're his whole family, right? Straight up thugs.
Straight up, you know. I mean, starting out from his daddy. I mean, it just passed on down the line because I mean, I think they really thought, I think his daddy probably thought he should have been Don Corleone. You know, you know, at some point. But I think one of the interesting points, you know, and then we'll just use this segment to talk about him, and then we go to break. We won't bring him up no more. The interesting part, especially during the arraignment, okay, you know, and whatever the case, you know, that particular secting, you know, it was very interesting. I think most of America, at least I know 80.9% wanted to see handcuffs and you know, and you know, mugshot, you know, at the end of the day. So a lot of people were disappointed they didn't get to see that end of it. You know, I mean, him going in, I think he's like, yeah, me too. You know, but you know, my thing is at 2 points. This emphasis about him being a former president should not have anything to do with the judgment situation of breaking the law. Okay, if anything, you should be held in a much more higher accountability level than somebody in the lower part of town breaking the law. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, because you're expecting, and to my understanding, is that presidents, they had to have the most cleanest record before they could even be considered as candidates for presidency. So how in the hell you gonna think you gonna get away with sleeping with a hoe? Okay, and then they're gonna try to cover your wholeness up, you know, by paying her off. Come on, dude, really? And that's just stupid. So last part, that's my problem with you guys going. And the last part about this was the speech, okay, because we had to watch it, so we'd be able to talk about this, you know, tonight. Typically, I mean, the highest level of narcissism. I mean, really, the highest level of narcissism went there and just presented this whole option like, I'm the perfect angel. I didn't do a damn thing wrong. It's all y'all. Look at me. I'm so perfect, you know, and everything that came out of that man's mouth, he ought to have been slapped with shit. I'm serious. Somebody should have been throwing shit at him. You know, that would have been an appropriate applause. Here, let me poop and throw some shit at you. You know, because that's what it was I mean,
that's what was coming out of his mouth.
Exactly. Exactly. So it should have been thrown right back at him. You know, you know. But anyway, go ahead. I'm through for it. Unless you guys got something else to say about it.
Well, it's just interesting how his whole family is trying to make it as the Democrats. It's like, no. This is because we don't know who made up that grand jury where they're standing out. Right. And there are Republicans who are looking at them the same way, going like, yeah, nah, dude, that was wrong. And you need to be held down, you know?
Right.
And this is a perfect example of like, either we mean no one is above the law or we don't.
Right.
And, you know,
exactly.
If we continue to let somebody get away with breaking the law because they are or were the president, then we really don't mean that.
Well, right. You know, and to your point, I'm sorry, Harold, cut you off, but to your point, so does this give a credence to anybody else that, I mean, that bank frauds and, you know, those are the type of things I'm kind of sticking it to the white collar crimes. Okay. So the ones that we know that are already incarcerated for these different things and the ones that we don't know about, they should be let free then, right?
Right.
Okay. You know, I mean, what grounds can you really hold them on? You know, I mean, they broke it, but here's another man broke it, but you let them get by with it. They need to be pleading these cases. I'm telling you, they need to be bringing these cases back up to these judges. But go ahead, Aaron.
I'm done with
But you know what? I want to add this, though. The karma in this is that, you know, he has now become what his mentor, the president that he really looked up to, Nixon. He really has now surpassed Nixon and going to jail for actually the crime that he actually did.
Right.
And then on top of that, let's just add this little tidbit: the karma in the Central Park Five.
Right.
That same situation, the same courtroom, the same jail that he had to sign up into was the same place. Those 5 boys had to go and deal with the stuff that they had to deal with. Plus, he put in the ad about the death penalty. See, all of this is blowing back up in his face because of years and years of getting away with so much crap.
Right.
Now, you know, I hate that, you know, to be honest with you, it took him to be president to do to have this happen. But goodness, you know, it's just, it needed to happen. And I hate to say it though, but you know, to be honest with you, if people don't see the forest for the trees with this situation, because this type of stuff, listen, we just need to open our eyes to the BS that is Trump.
Right.
We really do.
Absolutely.
But I don't think anybody is seeing this for what it really is yet.
Right.
And how really this has really messed up our political system as it is now going on as we speak.
Right.
All these people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these craziness are supporting him because they need him to come back.
Well, they need him to feel good about themselves.
For retribution, number one. But good about themselves.
There's a couple more points I want to bring about this. We're going to take 2 more minutes when we come back from break to talk about this, and we're going to move on. Because we're going to talk about this also giving them that credit, right? But we got a quick break, guys. We'll be right back with News Buzz with the fellas. We're going to hit this 2 minutes with him, and we're going to move on. All right, we'll see y'all in a minute.
Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
And we're back.
Okay. We can't hear y'all. Y'all having a private conversation over there?
Uh-oh. We
Hello?
lost our sound with JB and Dylan.
They're frozen.
Yeah, dang this technology. Well, we're going to figure that out while we figure these technical issues, what's going on with JB and Dylan. Oh, we lost their signal. All right, where do we want to start, Harold, while we wait for our friends to come back?
Well, we're going to put a pin in the whole conversation about Trump because I'm exhausted by that conversation.
I'm with you. I was like, okay, that's enough airtime for him. And even Mary was like, okay.
Right. Let's move on. Let's move on to something more fruitful and productive.
Yes. Oh, this whole controversy with Angel and Caitlin LSU in Iowa. It's so funny how when we talk about the disrespect that happens in this country, especially towards Black women, and people always go like, well, why has it always got to be about race? And I was like, we're not the ones who set it up that way.
Right.
But it's a clear example of the double standards that are held for exactly white people and Black people. The white people does it and it's like, oh, she's a queen. Oh, she's competitive. And oh, it's good for the sport. Black woman does it and it's thug and it's unprofessional, blah, blah, blah. Looking over the fact that Caitlin had done this exact same gesture, from what I understand, all season long. And in that particular game, she had done that same, you can't see me.
Right.
You know?
But how is Jill Biden just going to try to change things and have the loser come to the White House?
Right.
All right, guys, we're back. Sorry about that. I don't know.
Keep going. We will follow up. Keep going.
Hey, that's technology for you. You never know when it decides to do what it's going to do. But anyway, go ahead.
Go ahead.
But Angel said that they're not going to the White House, and I wouldn't. I mean, it's like, that whole invitation is for the winners, not for everybody, not for the losers. I'm like, what? It takes away the specialness of the occasion. It's like, okay, so you're just willy-nilly changing the way we do things, and I don't blame them.
And it is
Gen Zs ain't playing.
What's that
again?
These Gen Zs ain't playing.
No.
They're not playing. And that's what's really, and I was shocked when she said that too. I was really shocked as a millennial. I was like, ooh, but then I was like, I don't blame her, because honestly, that's how I would feel. Like, you won the championship. Why are you adding another team to our, into our limelight? You're taking the spotlight away from us, and we earned that. You would have get it from somebody, for a male's team or some other team. Right. So why now? Why now change the decorum of what it is to become a champion? Right. So go ahead.
Diminish our moment. I'm
exactly.
Like,
and it begs the question: would she have extended that invitation to LSU had they lost the game?
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Good.
Absolutely not.
And that's what we talk about racism. It's not the I hate niggas sort of racism, but it is the whole thing like, oh, we're going to make exceptions and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that white people feel comfortable and valued, and without just take the L. Your team lost. And there is never in history the losing team, no matter how good a game they play, gets invited to the White House. And so everybody's looking at her like, Jill, you were cool with me until you opened your mouth and said that. That really made me look at you, go like, okay, hold on, girl.
Right. Look at her in a whole different light, because you see, your daughter, your niece in those white girls, but you don't see. So you have a different type of connection, passion, whatever, and it's like,
Hi, Jill. I think these things, are certainly worth the conversation. At the end of the day, and being able to talk about it. And now this is kind of our rubber in the road and meeting in between, whatever that saying is. The thing about it is that sometimes, this just kind of broaden our perspective just a little bit, that people don't realize what they're stepping into until after it's done. because as you being an actor, I'm an actor. We all actors here. And the thing about it is, one thing that I learned from this kind of how it ties in. I learned from Jackie Birch. Okay, and for those of you who don't know who Jackie Birch is, she casted for Coming to America, Breakfast Club, all of these great films that have been out there. But the one thing that she said is that in a workshop that I was privy to be with her, and she said that the main problem with the separation of ideas is that people see themselves only as themselves. So they only cast themselves. They only look for themselves. So it's not that they
talk
really
about American Idol,
right?
Keep
Well,
going.
yeah, it's not that they sometimes they don't really understand what they're doing. And this is not giving excuses, but it's kind of giving a sense of reason. And so she said, so she told all these writers and things like this, but it's kind of the same thing. She said, well, why don't you guys ever write scripts that apply to everyone? And then they paused, and she said, I know why you paused. She said, because you don't see the world like you see yourself. So if you don't see yourself in someone else, you'll never write to be in somebody else. So in Ms. Biden's behalf, she didn't see herself, or she didn't see them in that capacity. So therefore, she ran to what we would consider maybe a racial indiscretion, and made a decision based on that. And it's about who you hang out with. It's about who you have in your camp on a regular basis, because once you have people of different ethnicities in your camp, then you'll start seeing the world differently. But if you hang out with all white people all the time, you're going to see the world as that particular type of person. Same with black people. If you hang out with all black people all the time, you're not going to see the world encompasses the other part of white people or Hispanic people or whatever the case may be.
But you behind the truth, this was a game. This was a game where two individuals were doing things that you would do to play sports, to get up underneath somebody's composure, to throw them off, and then one getting the slap on the wrist and the one being judged for it. And the saddest thing about it is those people who don't really, and who I hate to say it, but you have sports people, ESPN, and then you have other commentaries who like to put their spin on certain things and make it more than what it needs to be. I wish they would have stayed up out of what they were doing as competitors and made it more about the sports than what it was really about, professionalism, about all this other stuff, because sports is sports. If you are a woman or a man and you are trying to win the goal, you're going to do whatever it needs to be. Let's take the gender and the race, and it just, the commentary made it more than what it needed to be, and it exploded. It exploded out of just ridiculousness. Because I hate to say it, I think that girl, she had every right to feel as angry as she did, because she made it clear, y'all been calling me ghetto all this time because some man called me this and got away with it. Keith Olbermann should have shut his mouth, and some other people should have shut their mouth. Truth behind the truth. They put themselves into a competitive a sports situation where it didn't need to be. It was a game. And I felt that that was very disrespectful. I think Keith Olbermann and all those people from ESPN need to apologize. They really need to apologize to both of these girls, but especially to that one that they call ghetto and unprofessional. She was doing what she needed to do to make her team win, both of them. But the fact that they pulled one girl and made her the target was a target of racism in some form of misogyny and patriarchy. Because I'm sorry, that was the media. The mainstream media has a way of dogging one and uplifting the other. I see it all the time. I watch ABC. I watch The View. I watch all of these platforms, and you see it on Twitter. Social media does it all the time. We see how they dog one person, and they dogged that girl from Baltimore. And I'm sorry, that was awful. They need to apologize, especially to her, but especially to both teams. I'm just saying. No. Great point.
Well, I just had to push back on Mary's comment about I don't think it was racism in basketball, but it is when a white woman and a black woman do the exact same action and are described differently. That's racism. It's misogynoir, especially when it's targets misogyny and racism directed at black women. If they had called Caitlyn a thug or ghetto or unprofessional for doing this, and she's been doing it all season long, then yes, you would be right. It's not about racism. It's about professionalism. But it's just like when Black people protest and things get out of hand and it becomes a riot, but white people will protest because their team won or because their team lost, and they're revelers. It's like, wait a minute. They're doing the exact same thing. Their team won the game and they're going up and tearing the town, but they're not being called ghetto or thugs or criminals or it looks like roaches. That's not being said. That's the racism. That's where it comes in. And it isn't about saying I hate them or they're terrible at this, but how people are described for doing the exact same action
thing. Right, exactly. And it's unfortunate that, at this time in 2023 that we're still yet having a conversation to have a true conversation about not having this kind of conversation. You know what I mean? Because it really is. It's so unfortunate that we are having this, and why people just don't seem to wake up. But then again, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier on the show, to why this dumb group of people that's following this dumb man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people need to wake. Like I said last week's show, they need to wake the F up. We
can't wake up until we heal, and we can't heal until we become honest about what's going on.
Right.
True. Let me shift this to just because this is very, very disgraceful, but it's about, and I'm glad you said that, Harold. I'm changing the subject a little bit here. I don't know. I sent it to you guys. I don't know if you guys remember seeing it, but this rapper, and this is not I was just so, gosh, I'm sorry for getting lost. I was just so disgusted, that this video that this guy had put out, that what he would do to Black women in this video, and it's been all over everything. What he did is that he had these women, number one, twerking their ass toward the camera first and foremost. Then they turn around. They had this flaming colored hair. He puts them on the ground, crawling in front of him as he grabs their hair and making them do all these other type of lewd things on the ground. This is just sickening. And you're saying that, and we're talking about, the status quo of giving Black women a place in society. Now I'm going to, and I get that, but I'm speaking to these stupid ass rappers out here. Look, you can't say nothing about nothing. You can't say nothing about racism. You can't say nothing about you being treated bad or whatever. Because what you're doing is, I think, in my opinion, the worst example of anybody. I mean, I've seen some stuff, guys, but that was low.
I didn't see that, but our producer is saying that the women asked for him to do that.
But still,
idea.
You know what I'm saying? But why? Why are we? I'm sorry. Wait, hang on a second. Why are we so disconnected, young ladies? Why are you so damn disconnected from your authenticity?
Because they don't know themselves. But they don't know themselves. See, that's the thing that we have to understand: is when you don't know yourself, then you do what you're not supposed to do. You do things like that for attention.
Right.
You have to. You got to know who you are and the shoulders that you stand on. It goes back to that clip where you're yelling with Hazel E. when she made her look at the picture of Harriet Tubman, and she was quoting those rap lyrics to her, talking about beating her tail, and she said, "Well, did you know how they were beating Harriet Tubman?" It's just stuff like that. That's when you don't know who you are.
And I am so in agreement with you right there. But so here's the thing, and I'm so in agreement with you about that. They don't know who they are. We have got a generation of people, young people, that don't know who they are. But here's the thing: there has got to stop somewhere. This stop, because it's a perpetual cycle downhill, and it's going to get worse if somebody does not stand up and say, "Look, baby, you are God's gift to this planet, or the Creator's gift to this planet. You are wonderfully made. You are beautiful. You are all of these things, and stop letting this degradation grip you." I had a thing when women started calling themselves bitches. I'm like, really? Do you understand what you call yourself? At the end of the day, that's not an enduring word.
If you've never been told that, that,
I get it.
You don't know. You don't know.
No, I get it. No,
so you are in constant search of validation, and that's why they would ask him to do something like that, because they don't know their
I
worth.
get it.
Nobody else ever told them that, and they don't know how to get there. They don't know how to get there.
And they're not the only ones that are doing that. You have a lot of young girls out here. Let's take it off the black women just a little bit.
Right.
You have a new generation of women, and it's been going on for a long time. When you don't know who you are in your mind,
systematically,
internally, you don't think of yourself above the rest.
Right.
You don't think of yourself above a dog.
Right.
So those girls, hey, any girl who lives in a situation where they see abuse each and every day, cussing each and every day, they feel like they are immune to that experience and don't think of themselves above that experience.
Right.
You know, it takes a Maya Angelou who came from a brothel. She was born in a brothel.
Right.
She was also a prostitute too.
Right.
To have to rise above all of that to become who she was.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? She had to get through all of that. You have some girls that can't get past that.
So here's my thing. So here, the truth behind the truth. So then what do we do? What do we do as the gentlemen that have of this show that we can speak life into these people? Okay. It may if we're just saving 2, if we're just saving 3, we are saving some. So what can we do? How you as our audience share what we're talking about to these girls? You hear it. Okay, you guys here, you pass by this show every week. You know, you may like it, you may not, or whatever the case may be. But we come with you with honest truth. But if you allow a show like this and run to garbage, okay, and keep perpetuating, how is there ever going to be a change in the community?
You just got to keep speaking life.
You do. But here, if you don't know life yourself, then email us. We'll tell you about life. Okay, we'll bring you a point in a place in your life that you can feel better about you and understand you, as I said earlier, that you're created for a greater and a higher purpose than what you're allowing yourself to lowering yourself to these standards. You know. But go ahead.
But you know what? You know, now that I'm going to therapy, I realize how we have blind spots. We don't see a lot of things. We don't see ourselves the way other people see us, and we don't see the patterns of behavior that we have. You know, and so it sounds like it would be a quick fix, but it's not. It takes work, and a lot of people don't have that kind of resources to get the help that they need. It takes resources to get. That just ain't free. You know.
Well, yeah. No,
and have the time and the energy to do it. You know, if you're in survival mode, going to a therapist ain't. No, you're trying to pay your bills. You're trying to feed your kids. And so I think we have to have a level of compassion for them, you know, when we see what's going on. And I think it starts with us having compassion.
Right. So here's the level. Okay, and I accept what you're saying as far as the level of compassion, you know, in the process. But where is it the line that you have to say compassion is here, but I'm here to educate you to help you get better? Now
you can't educate somebody that's in survival mode.
Well, you can, but you have to find a way to meet them where they are and help them understand it and have a conversation with them. And
let me say this. When I was in survival mode, you couldn't tell me nothing unless you was giving me some money so that I could eat. Unless you give me you can't tell me nothing because I can't hear you because I am in survival mode.
So my question is, is it as wonderfully intelligent as we are here? How can
I ain't that intelligent, but keep going.
Yeah, you are. Believe me, you know. But how you can speak to these people, especially again, maybe it could be a one-on-one situation. And I'm not saying that we have to charge and hit the masses. Okay, however, maybe one-on-one and having a see where I know. You know,
I got a response to that when we come back from this break.
Let's go to break.
JB gonna keep trying to talk. We'll be back.
Right.
All right, and we are back, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It's lively tonight, boy. We try to help somebody. All right, we try to help somebody. All right, but as I was saying, so we get back to this, we're gonna move on. Absolutely, you know. But what I'm saying is basically, and I know how my heart is, and then also it goes a little deeper, you know, for me, because I have a granddaughter. Okay, at the end of the day, and her circumstances and situations, and as you well know, have not always been the best. Okay, and the best influences and the best things that are around her, and I have did my best to try to make that happen. To the degree that, you know, what the decisions that her father made put her in very very difficult positions, okay, and to the example that she has now that she's in the presence of her whatever mother, you know, I'm saying whatever mother, okay, you know, at this point,
her traumatized mother,
exactly, and very traumatized, and see, and to your point earlier, Harold, her trauma stems back so deep that, you know, her father molested her as a child, and then turned around and blamed her, said that she was touching her own sisters up under her and things, and she lived this life out here on the street trying to get through this particular trauma, and you know. But I'm saying in my head, well, she had my granddaughter. Okay, and then now the environment that she has brought to my granddaughter's understanding, what's going to stop my granddaughter from leaning this way? I mean, here's I find out, you know, maybe get too personal for the show tonight, but I'm just going to go there for a second. But I find out through a conversation I had the other day that with my son, that they're seeing their mother lacing cocaine in front of them.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what?
Wow. Oh, wow.
So in JB's world, baby, that would never be happening at the end of the day. However, but see, I'm trying to get myself and us prepared that hopefully that we don't want to have to experience this type of thing that's going on out there. How am I going to be able to speak to them? The number one thing is that I ain't ready to be a great granddad yet. Okay, for traumatic incidents that happen in people's lives, that 9 times in most girls, when they have such traumatic events that happen, they end up becoming mothers way too early. Okay, because they find comfort in the arms of some knuckle ass. Okay, at the end of the day, you know. So all I'm saying through this is that
a knuckle ass that's been traumatized too.
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree. You know, so when we got a bunch of knuckle ass trying to traumatize people that are running around, but I think that I think the senior leaders in this community, not just us here, but I mean by and large, we've got,
not a senior.
Well, yeah. But we really, I think that we really have to start putting some energy into situations like this, because what's going to continue to happen is that we will always have lost generation, and we don't need lost generations. You know, even to the point that what you guys started out talking about the basketball games, all of that leads to all of this type of behavior in some form or fashion. So all I'm saying is that if we got a little bit of advice that's going to help somebody to see something a little bit different, you know, or change their way of thinking, you know, then put it out there. Let that be the truth behind the truth for them, you know, and maybe that truth behind the truth will blossom in them and say, hey, you know what, I'm better than this. You know, I mean, we all had to go to some point to say we're better than that.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, all of us at some point, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you said, Harold, you're learning other things about yourself now that you are better than you are better now than you were 4 weeks ago. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And yes, you made a decision to go ahead and do it because you were tired of certain aspects in your life, you know. But where do these people get tired? You know what I'm saying? And that's just an unanswered question. You know, where do they get tired? Where do they quit running into a brick wall? You know, about these certain elements of the, or again, feeling it's okay for somebody to beg a guy to put you on the ground and grab you by your hair and make you walk around like a dog. I'm done with that.
I'm gonna jump in here because here's the thing. JB, my mom used to say this all the time. You can't save nobody who don't want to be saved.
True.
And that's everybody is not going to be saved. Everybody is not going to receive the message, whether they're just don't think they're worthy or whether they think this is it. I'm fine. I'm perfectly comfortable with this. Trying to save everybody, you will drown. So you can only put the message out there, and those who receive it will receive it and go and do better. Because those folks the classism or whatever that has always existed. There have always been the people who carried themselves at a certain level. They've always been those middle people, and they've always been the dregs of society. You know, that is just nothing new under the sun. So trying, you know, it's like you have to accept that that's where they are, and the only thing that you can do is still value them as human beings. I don't think any lesser of you because you're behaving in a certain way. And so I hope that you see your value. And or I forget the rapper's name, you know, but he was like, well, it was the girl's idea. Like, come on, you're supposed to be a man then as a man, I'm not doing that to y'all.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Point.
Because you know who they're not gonna come after you. They're gonna come after me and look at, oh, he made them do that. And that's exactly what happened.
This is why
that's my point. Thank you for that part. That's my point.
But this is why I miss the 90s. I hate to say this. In the 90s, we had representation of storylines and TV shows where we saw this and there was a message. I was thinking about when you said that part about a different world when Charmaine was called Digit Ho. And they had the big mock trial, and Professor Dean told I forget his name, but she was like telling him, don't call a woman any name, any derogatory name you won't want nobody else to call your mother.
Right, exactly.
Right.
The same thing. I wish we had messages like that on television, because right now what we're seeing on television is really influencing. And if that, I'm so sorry for making up that word, but it's really influencing the households that we're living in with children and parents. Right. And then you're seeing it in the schools right now. You're seeing the children fighting the teachers. Right. That's why I was telling somebody, Abbott Elementary is really the representation of what children are going through in their household, and they're bringing it to school. Right. The fact that Janine is the catalyst of trying, like you, and I'm calling him Janine, wanting the children to hear what she's trying to get through to them, but she's not understanding that you cannot get to every child. You got to get to the child that's willing to listen. Right. That is what we're gonna get to Tennessee politics, but still, though, to make a story short, I wish we had those messages on television, and I think that's what would probably help the situation, because right now we're seeing so much dysfunction, we're seeing so much dumb reality, and it's messing up everything that's going on in society right now, because we don't even know how to talk to each other. That's true. Or hold a conversation with each other without arguing or clenching fists. True. So I think that's the problem. It's what we're hearing and what we're seeing, and it's influencing a whole generation of people to go about doing things on, just go off on a tangent. I see it in my store every day and every night.
You did have the right word. You were just putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Influencing.
So with that all being said, all right, and kind of just coasting into this next level, I mean, we need to talk about this Tennessee situation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of encompasses everything what we're talking about tonight. It's kind of all encompasses that. The two senators, that were removed from their office. I apologize for not having their names, but removed from office because they decided to take a stand against, the type of rifle it is, the assault rifles, and it was, to me, it was absolutely crying shame, but again, it goes to show, what you guys what we started this conversation talking about all along. It's just a certain Choice Select, if they were the ones that were doing this, they would have never gotten moved out of office. They would have never been quote unquote rebuked, for their allegiance to getting something done. And kudos to them, and I think that I'm looking at the good side of this for them. I think they're going to get rallied back, and they're going to get their positions back. It may take a little fight, doing whatever the case may be, but here we have, and we always talk about, we don't never see another young African-American guys that are in legislation, to make some change happen, and then here we have two of them, they got voted in, in that capacity, to make some change. And when they stand against something, which they had the right to do, which they should do, and we need more to do, the same thing, they get rebuked for it. Right. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I just feel like if this doesn't wake up everybody in America, I'm sorry, we're doomed. Yeah, because especially if it can happen in Tennessee, but it can happen everywhere. I'm so sorry. It happens more in the South, but that could happen here in the state of California.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you don't get involved and go vote. Right. And these two guys were the catalyst of a decorum that been going on since slavery. And I hate to say it, one of them, I think his name was Jones. He was the one that wanted the bust of Beckford Forrest, who was the leader of the Ku Klux Klan, who founded the Ku Klux Klan in Tennessee, and who was the father of the Ku Klux Klan. He wanted that statue gone. And so happily, he's now he was part of that body. He was part of the legislature. Right. They've been had that vendetta against him since then. And they want, and to be honest with you, the way they will talk to in that moment, you talking about a parent talking to a child. Those were two grown adult men, and I'm sorry, I was very offended by that. And I'm just saying, if you're an American, you need to wake up. Well, it's again, wake up, women and men, women and men.
This is what the show is turning into tonight, which is fine, because we do need to wake up. I mean, straight across the board. Because again, as I said earlier, why are we continuously having conversations like this? Because people are not waking up. They're waking up. They're waking up to a side of them that they've been trying to hide all along, so that now they have the credence to put it out there, and they can, without any, responsibility about what they said. I mean, at the end of the day, it's sad. And if going back to the beginning, if this fool gets back in office again, God knows, I hope they don't. I'm not putting out that he is
retribution. He said,
yeah. Well, if that fool gets back in the office, hopefully that one of these other these criminal situations that he's up for will lock his ass up. And then he won't be able to do anything. But we don't know all of that just yet. They keep saying that allegedly this is all going to happen. But we really have got to I think have a common ground with the people of like-mindedness. Okay, because if you're not surrounding yourself with like-minded people, then it's going to be a real struggle for you. At the end of the day, that's go ahead, Harold. You got something?
No, I was going to say, and kudos to the white woman who was doing the exact same thing that they were doing, and she wasn't expelled. And kudos to her for being woke, because I saw in an interview where she said the reason why she wasn't expelled because she's a white 60-year-old woman.
Gloria Johnson, and it's Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. And it is again how racism permeates our culture, because they can't just outright just say, we don't want them niggas up in here. But it's so they try to make it, well, I didn't see her doing the same things that they were doing to the same extreme. Like if there she is, hand in hand with them. She was right there on them. Like, well, I saw him. He was going up into the balcony and inciting people. I didn't see her doing the same thing. And but if the point is that they were taking part in a protest, it doesn't matter whether you saw who did this or who did that. They were part of the protest. If you're going to get rid of everybody, get rid of everybody.
Right.
And and I want to make, from what I understand, she just was saved by just one vote. That kept her from being expelled. And that one person, you might, well, why did you vote for these other two? But you changed your mind on her. I think that was the one who was saying, well, I didn't see her doing this. And that, like you're saying, that the point of the matter is that she also sees it for what it is and is calling it as it was. And D, to your point, that that the brother wanted the statue removed, put a target on his back. The fact that these young brothers don't have the quote unquote sleek politician look, and with the big fro and the long hair, they changed what a politician can look like in office. Like, hey, I have a big fro. Yo, I got my long hair, and I'm still educated on how this system works, and I'm still here speaking up for the people that I represent.
Absolutely. Real quick before we go to break, I do want to take just a quick minute, and we're talking about the protesting and whatever the case may be. We do want to recognize that on April 4th, Dr. King, lost his life 55 years ago, in the process in Memphis. Okay. So I want to pay homage to him real quick before we go to break. Maybe we'll elaborate on him real fast, but we got to go about our fashion talk after this break. So we're moving along tonight, but we'll be right back, guys. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for this very informative night on The Truth Behind the Truth. And we do hope that you will take and share and like and pass the word on tonight, and hopefully wake some people up, okay, as to what we've been talking about and discussing tonight, and hopefully they will find their truth behind their truth in the process of it. But just to I think wrap it up. Well, there was one point we're going to make before we move on. Did I have it or you had it?
What about the Tennessee expulsion?
Yes, there was one. Was there a point somebody was going to make?
My thing about this whole entire situation is if the Republicans weren't as mad about this tragedy, and that what really makes me kind of unnerves me is the fact that they were so busy trying to make a message with these two instead of making a message and protecting their own children. That was my situation with this. Is like y'all really took out the time to do this instead of making laws and making some form of concessions for the fact that these kids have, lost their lives.
True.
Right.
I totally agree. And we send their families and everything. Definitely, the prayers are good and just good energy. Especially going.
It's time we put people before politics, as
absolutely.
they say. Absolutely.
Harold, they've been saying that for the longest, and it's just right. Like politics keep going on and going on.
There's money behind it. We're looking at Clarence Thomas right now.
Well, yeah, we'll say that for next month.
There's money behind politics.
That's a whole other story.
There's donations to be had.
Right.
There are businesses and people get paid. So
that's a whole other show.
Politics trumps people. That's what it's all about.
That's a whole other show. But anyway,
money.
It's time for us to talk about some underwear. Okay,
we're gonna switch it up on another subject.
We'll talk about underwear. What kind of underwear? Oh
Lord!
What in the heck? Those are like the pins I used to have to wear.
You know what I can't. Okay.
Like the pins.
So, gentlemen, what we're doing, okay, is that we wanted to. We probably have to roll this over because we may not have enough time to get into every line that we're going to talk about tonight.
No, but we got like a minute and a half.
Yeah. So we wanted to really share some ideas for you to actually incorporate into your wardrobe of different lines of undergarments that are available for you now. Okay. So some of them, okay, some people prefer the loose category, which would be the boxer, the boxer lining, but the way pants are brief.
Above it, those are
right.
boxer briefs.
So boxer briefs, they kind of hold the package in place. I'll put it that way, And
but some people.
Well, okay.
I mean, I don't like to brag, but
okay, and then you have this new style, okay, that I think elaborates or brings more attention to the front. Because of the way that the cup is designed in it, and
just don't wear no European cut suits.
Well, yeah, exactly. So that becomes a little bit more revealing, at the end of the day. So set your own boundaries, okay, in terms of what it's going to be comfortable for you. Make sure you buy something that's comfortable, okay. Yeah. Make something that you can that breathes in the lower part of your extremities, okay.
As my grandma would call it, the Pack-a-Sat stuff.
Oh, but there's a lot to choose from out there, and so in men's fashion underwear typically kind of launched off with Calvin Klein years ago. I mean, he was the one that really kind of put the mark on it and start drawing more attention to to men's underwear. So now it's a time for you to change underwear. Get rid of them tighty whities. All right, sleepwear. Okay, sleepwear. So, I love these. I wear these all the time. Okay. I call them house pants, sleep pants, or whatever the case may be. Very comfortable, to wear around the house, things like that. You can be free, in that and they're very, very good for that, in that aspect. So most of your pajama line typically comes like that, we don't really call them PJs anymore. They kind of a lounge wear, so something else that you can consider to putting a part of your wardrobe as well, from silk to just cotton to, whatever, you desire in that aspect of it. Let me ask this question. So do you wear these, Harold, at all?
Oh, no.
Oh,
lounge wear?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no, I sleep in the nude.
Oh. Okay, moving on.
I'm like, where's that picture?
If sleeping in the nude will make people lose weight, I'm telling you, everybody up there gonna be small. Okay.
What you say, G?
They say sleeping in the nude is really healthy for your skin. It keeps you cool. And it is good for your digestive system too.
Right. Losing weight, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there's too many people that
a lot of people don't like that, but
sleep sleeping in the nude. Okay, but anyway,
well, if you're sleeping in the nude next to your partner, you have more sex, which burns more calories, so you lose weight.
Right.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I knew there was something to the
right.
To
That's the
reasoning
connection.
there. Okay.
That's the connection.
Right. Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Then okay, now I pulled it all together. You know what that.
You start feeling skin in the bed. You like stuff start happening.
Brown chicken, brown
Okay, I got you. I got you. So just sharing with you, honestly. So what would be your guys' underwear choice? I mean, for you guys,
Mesh.
You know, I know we're almost out of time, so I'm hush it. I'm either Breeze boxer briefs or whatever, something that gives you a little room. So
okay,
your male just has some room to breathe.
Okay. What about you, Harold?
Well, I need a lot of support.
Okay.
I ain't want to brag, but I'm
Okay.
And people who do all that talking, they'll have nothing. So
Right.
people who do all that talking, they got nothing. So we just gonna leave it there.
I need mine as tight as a girdle.
Okay.
I just need mine as tight as a girdle. I got to feel like I got to make sure everything is in place.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth, and of course on our underwear kickoff edition. But next week we're going to be digging into more fashion and what have it, and talking about, as I said, hygiene and all those things to help keep you encouraged in different ways to better yourself. And that's what we want to do for the men for the rest of the month of April. But anyway, we hope to grab something from tonight. It was a very powerful night, and take where you can pull it. Make your community a better community, okay? And that's by you extending yourself in love. And we want to say the number one thing about love is that however you view yourself on tomorrow, which is Easter, okay, however you view, whether you're Christian or whatever, and if you just embrace the energy about it, do that, okay? And then just extend that love that's available to you, all right? We had a great night, guys. Thank you for being here. Love you guys. Right. We will see you all again next week on the same place. Behind the truth, behind the truth. Good night.
Ain't that interesting? We're always racist when you point out what the